We are back. Chitown Lowdown, episode 19. We are going to be reviewing week 18 with Bears versus Packers on what was a bit of a letdown, being that all of us picked the Bears to cover the spread at +3, and more or less they just got absolutely bullied out there. So, we'll go over that here for you and give you our thoughts on that and what's to come.
Yeah,
who wants to start?
I think the outcome speaks for itself. Not what we were expecting. Not what I was expecting, at least.
I like to just leave that hanging there, to see who wants to jump in if anybody's got something burning on their minds.
No, I think we should start, with the positives because there's not many. I think
get it out of the way.
Yeah.
There was a few things. I think Stevenson played well with not who was out, not Brisker.
Jalen Johnson.
Yeah, with him being out, he played well
Dragon
again.
Slayer.
Yeah, so he played well again. Santos, I think, broke the record for field goals in a season.
34.
Yeah. So that's a couple
Bang
big
that
things.
One from 50, 51, 50, whatever it was.
Yeah. Overall, we just really laid an egg out there. Like I said, I could go on and on. Do you guys have any positives about the game?
I think the defense
I like the point that. Yeah, Jesse.
Yep.
The defense played decently, not extraordinarily, but I think they continued to play well. I do think the Packers' offense has gotten a lot better, and
Savannah's home.
I was pretty pleased with how the defense played. I think there were a couple of key plays. One in particular was that coverage Terrell Smith had on somebody in the end zone and dropped that interception. That would have been a huge play and could have turned the tides. And
that was a good play by the receiver as well. You can't.
Yep, it was. But, overall, I think the defense did their job and held the Packers to 17 points. Is that what it was?
Yeah. To add to that, I would also say
I think they got
pass rush. I think it was 9-17.
Yeah,
17.
Wow.
But regardless, I thought the secondary with Johnson being out did a good job because it didn't, to me, seem like we were getting much of a pass rush on Sunday. And when with our defense, it's primarily based on those four guys getting pressure without having to send a blitz every other play. And when they're not getting pressure, that just means that you've got a quarterback that's just sitting back there, just waiting for somebody to get open. And you're not getting, from the secondary's perspective, much help from the guys up front in a game like that. And you're really having to hold your own for extended periods of time. So I thought the young secondary looked good. Eddie Jackson, everybody but him. He was overrunning off, missing tackles. It's been fun. Eddie was a good Bear. But he's kind of, in my opinion, exposed himself as one of the weaker links on the back end. I
didn't like the rookie Terrell Smith either. I did read something about that. Watching him even, but I didn't think about it watching it, and then I read something about it. I was like, yeah, he did not do well.
Well, in his defense, he is a rookie, and I think he was like a 5th or 6th round pick. But
okay,
and he's
we were talking about positive things.
Yep.
No, we're done with positive. Like Tom said, it was a short list. we're on to the next now, in my opinion. Jesse and I were kind of talking about this prior. Like my knee jerk was like, okay, clean slate. Get everybody out. Like I don't care. Like I'm done. Whatever. Fields gone. Fluke's gone. Getsy obviously gone. That was my knee jerk, and now I'm trying to keep myself from doing anything irrational. Because obviously what I do has a huge bearing on where this team goes. So I'm trying to keep a level head.
Yeah, right. They watch this for sure.
Yeah, exactly. So just trying to stay calm. We're in a good spot going into the offseason, minus that loss. Would have been nice to have some momentum, but the future is bright for this team. And yeah, we can talk a little bit more about what's happening in the off season. But Wargo, you got anything you want to add on with the comments for the game specifically?
I was just combing over the stat line here a little bit. Yeah, like the cheapest internet money can buy, so I have to go on my phone and just use LTE. But yeah, very much. But linebackers had a good day. Edwards and Edmonds both played well. I thought I saw Sanborn out there, but that just must have been for his only tackle that he made. Yeah, Travis Homer got a tackle, so that's huge. Probably on special teams, I presume. But no, I mean, not too many bright spots. I think that is pretty accurate to say that there was a short list out there. With the knee-jerk reaction thing, I think it was pretty easy to change your opinion on Fields given that last game. Because, I mean, like he said, like he's still going out there to win. There's a lot of talk. Everybody's still going out there. Jalen Johnson had said that he expects to play. Obviously, there were other people that prevented that from happening, which I don't think is the worst move. I'd like to talk a little bit about Jalen Johnson, what you guys think of that.
He said he wants to come back, right?
Yeah, well, so what did he didn't request a trade. He was like seeking a trade or
that was earlier in the season, right? And then I think he said something like recently, like he wants to come back.
Yeah, which I mean,
could be wrong. I could be wrong.
The secondary was
Tom, you're right. I heard that as well. Okay. Pulling up his comments here really quick. Jalen Johnson, he said, I expect to get a deal done. I'm confident and expect to get a deal done in Chicago.
Yeah.
He told Danny Parkins and Matt Spiegel that on 670 The Score. This was yesterday.
I like this time of year because, well, I don't like it because we're not in the playoffs, but they do the end of the year interviews with the players. You kind of get more
exit interviews.
Yeah, you kind of get more in depth of what the people are thinking, and the comments are coming out, and just interesting.
DJ Moore pretty much called out Eberflus, Getsy in his post game interview, where he was basically like, we need to have more explosive plays. Like, we're not drawing up enough explosive plays. We're just kind of like playing behind the sticks a lot. And like, he didn't come out and say it because he's too nice and like well-spoken, but when you read between the lines, he basically called out Getsy for not, calling an effective season. And I mean, Luke's been saying it on other teams' behalfs when they fire their offensive coordinators. It was that guy. All the issues that we had were that guy's fault, and that's why he's leaving. And I feel like I see like that is most likely what's going to happen here in Chicago. I think we stick with Eberflus there. Stick with Fields. Sure. I don't know.
What about Getsy though? Like, if everybody else stays, wouldn't that lead us to believe that Getsy's going to stay as well?
I don't think so.
Or do you guys think we get rid of him?
No,
I think
because it's you're putting Fields in another situation where it's like, here's a new playbook, here's a new terminology, here's a new guy that's gonna
for sure.
We're gonna get
be trapped in a room with smelling sparks all year long.
I think they're doing a lot of self-reflection right now with these exit interviews, and I think that's a big reason as to why we haven't seen a lot of comments out of Matt Eberflus and Ryan Poles and Kevin Warren since that Packers game. And they're taking into account a lot of what the players are saying. They want to know, what they're thinking, how they felt about the season, and then take everybody's opinions into account when they make these decisions. And I do think that DJ Moore's comments after the game aren't isolated. They're probably, pretty.
I mean, the fans see it. The players have to feel it.
Yeah. So and if you take a look at a couple teams that moved on from their offensive coordinators during the season, and the Steelers and with Matt Canada, and the Bills with Ken Dorsey, two playoff teams, two teams that kind of righted the ship after they made those moves. Unfortunately, we didn't do that during the season and get the opportunity to do a U-turn middle of the season and change the look of the offense. But now's the time to make that decision. Not not preseason or in the middle of next year, I think now's the time to do that and if you are going to bring Fields back, let him know that it wasn't all on him, that they do understand Luke Getsy wasn't getting the job done in terms of calling up a game plan and putting our players in a position to succeed. So
yeah, I mean, go ahead. Sorry.
I hope they get rid of him.
Yeah, I mean, that Green Bay game, it just kind of stunk on the offensive. And that Green Bay defense is not that good. Let's be honest. But I do know
either.
Huh?
Tom, do you get rid of Getsy? If it's up to you, would you get rid of him like Jesse said?
So I think at the end of the day, they are going to take, in my opinion, I think they will take the players' consideration or their opinions into consideration. Like, that's for sure. But I think that's a smaller part. And I think these guys are going to get in the room and they're going to be like, is Justin our guy? And if there's any doubt, I think they're going to be like, no. Can he take us to the championship? And then also
you're saying there's going to be zero doubt.
I guess I kind of went on, but for Justin, but for Getsy, I think we get rid of him. I think we bring in. I don't know who we bring in yet. I haven't done much research on who's available.
Let's do a Max Bundy baseball tryout. I think we just assign a number for how likely we think that the players and coaches are to be on the Bears next year.
Yeah,
starting with Getsy.
I like this.
Okay,
Getsy, 10 being the most likely that he's gone.
That's how I had envisioned it. If that makes sense to you guys.
Okay. Yeah,
I'm going at an 8 for Getsy being gone.
I got him at an 8.
Yeah, I'll give him a 9.
I gave him an 8. So.
Yeah. JF1.
Pretty high, guys. Those are pretty high. I think it could not be, but I think it's pretty. I think it's going to happen.
Yeah,
it's got to. So. What about Eberflus?
Okay,
Eberflus.
Yeah, Eberflus. Here's the deal with Eberflus, right? This one's hard because look at it. Belichick's gone to New England. Vrabel just got fired today in Tennessee. Harbaugh's a big question mark.
Rivera.
You got coordinators Rivera's probably. I mean, he's got history with the Bears, but I think we need to take a step away from old guy who likes defense and maybe get to like $500 haircut and knows how to run the offense type territory with head coach. And my point here is you got guys like the enemy. He's a bald guy, so he's like me. He doesn't pay anything for a haircut. But you got guys like him. You've got guys like Ben Johnson in Detroit, Bobby Slowick, this dude from Houston, who was just like, it's like every year they take that graphic of all those coaches on Washington like 10 years ago, and it's like, I can't think of anybody's names right now, but
Matt LaFleur,
Matt LaFleur, Sean McVay, Mike Shanahan, and now it's Bobby Slowick guy. They're like, oh, he was there too. Guess what? He was, he changed the toilet papers in the bathroom on that team.
Gotta get him.
But going with someone who's maybe a little more offensive minded or someone who's a legend, right? Like not a Vrabel, but a Belichick or a Harbaugh, someone who's really got a resume. If those guys are available, I don't want the Bears to be like, oh, well, in week 17, we said we were sticking with Eberflus. I don't give a shit what you said in week 17. These dudes are out there. Like, let's go and try and make something happen. Just because you said something, and they already have this mindset, but I don't want there to be any like trepidation as it relates to like going back on your own words. We don't care. You're not going to hurt our feelings because he said Eberflus was going to be the coach next year. And now we're just like, Bill Belichick really wants to come to Chicago. But like we said that in week 17. So it's like, I'm hoping that that's not the mindset. I'd like to see Eberflus gone, but I'd put his number closer to a 6 than an 8. Roundabout answer. Took about 3 minutes.
I like a lot what you said there, Luke. I do think that bold action now in making changes in the coaching staff would probably pay some dividends, but I unfortunately think Eberflus's number here is probably closer to a 2. I think he's definitely going to be back next year. You know,
not the end of the world if he is.
Yeah.
But
yeah, I'd like to see, like Luke said, an offensive-minded head coach. I mean, if you look around the league, there's a lot of those in the playoffs, I believe. And I don't mind Eberflus, but yeah, like they already said that he was coming back, and I would love for them to be like, nah, there's some people that came available we like more, but I doubt that. I give him a 3.
Yeah, I like 4 a little bit better. I think there is the outside chance that we go out and get a winning coach, like a legend, as Luke was mentioning. But my big argument against that is, they're not on the salary cap. It's the front office that pays the coach's salary, right? Am I wrong?
I have no idea.
Yeah, I don't know either.
Well, regardless, it doesn't affect our salary cap, I know for sure. So I know that it's not something that like the organization really considers, aside from the fact that I'm pretty sure it's the front office that pays for the head coach's salary. And
I think you're right. I think I heard that somewhere.
So I don't think they're going to go out and get that hero guy and pay him the big number that he's going to be asking for. So I think they're likely going to stick with Flus.
Who's our defensive coordinator? I don't even know.
Flus, because we fired ours because he got raided by the FBI. Like,
oh yeah,
we got like a consultant
took it over.
But we got like a consultant.
I'm pretty sure Eberflus took over.
Yeah, okay.
Defensive play calling after that.
Yeah, he's done a good job, and I would love for him to
fact check me on that.
Yeah, well, I'd love for him to be like take a back seat and go somewhere else as a defensive coordinator, so we can get a real head coach in here. But if we get him, I'm not like sad about it if he comes back. But yeah, I think it would do the team a lot of good if he were gone. But I think starting with Getsy is a good start.
Yeah. I'm fearful of a change like that because of what we're saying with Fields. Like, is that what's best for Fields? So if we're drafting a quarterback, I put Getsy at it because it's like bring in someone who can install an offense with Caleb Williams or Drake May, whoever it might be, and that's what they know. Like, if Fields sticks around, if that's the decision, then sticking with Getsy there could be some more positives to take into consideration there. Just to
we said before that
you're in the Justin Fields cult.
Huh?
Yeah, so let's do the Justin Fields number now.
5.
We did Eberflus.
There's the most uncertainty around Justin, I think. But if I did, I think he's going to be gone personally, and I think they're going to draft a quarterback. But
yeah, I mean,
I'll say 5 right now.
Yeah, go ahead, Luke.
I agree with that, and I think that what we had maybe talked about on the last podcast plays into that, and in the sense that Poles hasn't made the moves that are like Nilla. He's done some stuff where it's like, oh, I didn't see that coming, and given the trend, I think Jesse's right that we could see him want to go in a different direction at quarterback. So I think that's a good spot as well.
Yeah.
Don't say 5.
No, I'm thinking more like a 7 that he's gone.
Gosh dang it! I should have gone.
I'm in that boat that, like I said earlier, I was kind of moving on too quick, but I just picture the big guys getting in this room and like talking over what we're gonna do with Justin, and I think
Doing a Monte Carlo
there's going to be some uncertainty in there. And if there's any uncertainty of if he is our quarterback moving forward, we need to get rid of it. And I think there's going to be some uncertainty, even with the backing of the players. And, that's why I think we do draft Drake May or Caleb Williams. And I was going to ask, we'll talk about that later, but what are we looking for in a quarterback if it's not Justin? But I give him a 7.
We'll put a pin in that one.
Yeah, go ahead, Borgo.
Go ahead.
So, yeah, I mean, I was actually kind of leaning more towards a 7. I don't know where the talking heads in the media got the number 40 million that's being tossed around, 40 million a year. I think
probably
that's
from us, right? I think we talked about 40 million.
Oh, yes. Yeah. Chitown Lowdown.
yeah. They're obviously,
Yeah, probably. But I think that we might get him at a reasonable number. I think we're still going to have to pay him a lot just because where the quarterback market is right now. And, but I think, with what you were talking about, Tom, when you look at all the possible scenarios and all the different possibilities, I think there's more possibilities where we build around Fields, even if he's not a top 5 quarterback or maybe even a top 10. I think he's shown us that he does possess quite a few abilities that, when coupled – I'm sick of that he didn't have enough guys excuse, but
yeah, and that there's a fine line between does he have enough people around him that makes him a good quarterback, or do we need to draft to make him have more people around him? And
we gotta have a center.
I was all on.
Gotta have somebody to snap him a good ball.
Yeah,
that meme that I sent you guys yesterday with Gordon Ramsay talking about Justin Fields and Mitch Trubisky.
Yeah.
That's all I can think of when you guys are talking like this. Why are you defending him?
Because we haven't had a quarterback in Chicago forever. You remember Jay Cutler?
He's not it. He's not the guy.
7.
That's what. So you're agreeing that he's gone, right? That's what 7 means.
Oh shit!
70 stays or 70 goes.
No,
7 he goes.
I'll go. Doesn't actually make sense because I'm going to put it at a different number on the other side. But I'm going to go with the 4.
I don't know.
So you think you think it's more likely he's going to be around next year?
Yes, correct.
I think
agree.
He will not be around next year.
You had something Wargo a second ago, and I think it'd be good to just expand on it a little bit. Is what characteristics do you look for in a quarterback? Because obviously he's very adamant. He thinks that Justin Fields doesn't have what it takes. And honestly, I agree with him. I think we've seen enough at this point. But if we're looking for something different, what is that exactly? For me, it has nothing to do with his intangibles. I like Justin's personality. He seems like he wants to just play football. He's not super concerned with, his social media presence or his just, his relation with the media as a whole. He just seems like he wants to play football. And I can really appreciate that. And I like his attitude. He seems like he wants to win and he wants to win there. But if I have to pick a couple things out that I don't like about Justin, it's that he holds on to the ball too long. He doesn't have a great feel in the pocket. If you watch him in games, he's incredible. But something that happens a lot with him is he'll shake 3 guys off, take 2 steps to the left, and then he forgets that they're there. And then those guys get up and they strip sack him. His ball security in the pocket is not great. And it's because his pocket awareness, it seems like when he's got a guy, a corner blitzing off the edge, and it's to his face, he doesn't see that immediately sometimes. And it's you need a guy who what that equates to is being able to protect yourself and also effectively be able to extend plays and still protect the ball. Justin's great. He can get out and run and do that better than anybody in the league. And I think an element of that is very important in today's league, but I don't think you can really say any comments that he has a great feel for what's going on in the pocket. And then, the other thing is accuracy. Like Justin Cannon, he has no problem throwing the ball downfield. And he's actually, in my opinion, a better deep ball thrower than he is with the short to intermediate routes. He has the tendency sometimes to sail balls over guys that are sitting in the flat. And it's just like, we need this for 3rd and 13. And there's no one anywhere near him. He'll sail an occasional throw like that. So I don't know if I had to put my finger on a few things, I guess that's what they'd be, but I agree with Jesse. I like Fields. I appreciate what he's done. He seems like he's played hard. He's taken a lot of hits for the team. And, that is one thing to his credit, like never gets a flag, but you don't see him complaining. He just gets up and continues to play.
Yeah, Luke, you hit the nail on the head. I mean, he's a great dude, and I hope he succeeds in the NFL. I don't think right now with the skill set he has and some of the flaws that he's showcased with his time with the Bears, he's going to be able to succeed too much. But I do think he's a good guy, and let me ask you this though. Who would you rather have as your quarterback right now, Jordan Love or Justin Fields?
Jordan Love. He was like the freaking second.
We traded up to get Fields. Jordan Love was drafted 26th overall by the Packers and sat 3 years behind Aaron Rodgers. And now this year, first year as a starter, threw more touchdown passes than any Bears quarterback has ever thrown in the history of their franchise. It's just unacceptable. We need to figure this out.
Yeah, who's picking these guys? For me, I want to see.
And back to Tom, you saying throwing Drake May's name out there. We do not need another quarterback from North Carolina.
All right, hey, don't hate on them. But
hey, Trubisky took us to the playoffs.
I'm just saying the possibilities of quarterback.
Right. It is possible. I mean, I think one thing a lot of people aren't talking about is doing something like taking Marvin Harrison Jr. with the first overall pick. And then there are some decent quarterback prospects that are still going to be available with that number 9 pick. So if there's a guy that pulls and the coaching staff and Kevin Warren really like, it's not out of the question that they may pick someone there, or they may trade up.
Where's your line, Jesse? Like in terms of like those guys that kind of fall closer to the middle of the first round in terms of quarterback? Is there like after this point, if we haven't gotten one, I do want to stick with Fields, or I want to go get a free agent or whatever it be. Is there like a cutoff with
probably the top 4 guys? Caleb Williams, Jaden Daniels, Drake May, and Michael Penix.
For me, I don't want a mobile quarterback again, and I think is Jaden. I don't really know about Jaden.
I don't know if that's an option anymore, Tom. They kind of all come mobile at this point.
Yeah, I mean, I want a good pocket passer, and that gets the ball out of his hands. Justin, I don't care what we say about him. Yeah, he's improved and everything. He still holds on to the ball too long, and that's a problem.
And another thing is how his delivery of the ball. Like, he's loading up so hard every time he throws it. It adds half a second to his release.
That's why his screen passes get blown up all the time.
His time to throw is terrible. Yeah. Another one of his things, of his quirks that just don't translate to being a good NFL quarterback. Love the guy, Justin. I'm sorry I'm saying this, but I appreciate what you did for Chicago, but
we don't get this option.
He's gonna be great somewhere else. He's gonna make us look like idiots. I mean, hope him the best. Make me look like a fool. I don't care.
Morgan, what do you got? What's your take?
I'm just going to take the other side of the coin. I think you guys are all just loser mentality, and you think that just getting a new quarterback is going to, that's putting a Band-Aid on a bullet hole. I don't think that's going to be the solution. If you put Caleb Williams in that game against the Packers and you let that kind of pressure get to him, and
our line was Swiss cheese. But like Kevin Jenkins even said, that he played his worst game this year. He's not wrong.
True.
Our center was getting blown up.
Like dog water.
Yeah, I mean, he was under pressure the whole time. But you're going to tell me that after 3 years with Justin, you're not ready to, consider moving on. Because a fourth year, and then I'm like, what's going on? Because
I think he moves every year with the draft. I mean, look at Bryce Young, and then look at C.J. Stroud. I talked against it, and I've gone back and forth with this. I do think that we could get a quarterback in the draft. What's up?
I've gone back and forth too. Like 2 weeks ago, I was like, Justin is our guy, man.
We did it all year. We went back and forth all year. 2 weeks ago, we were like, yep, Justin's going to be back.
Okay.
Now, this is our final say right now.
We're divided, but I don't see it, guys.
I'm riding with JF1. He's my guy.
And keep in mind, I had this philosophy when we drafted Fields is this league is driven by quarterbacks.
Yeah.
All the good teams have a good quarterback. It's so rare to see teams succeed without that guy, whoever that guy might be.
Because you're not going to get without a good quarterback.
Exactly. And
Brock Purdy, everybody says Brock Purdy, but he's a good quarterback. Everybody
Michigan had no trouble without a quarterback. They just hand the ball off every time.
I'm just saying, 49ers are really, really good, and that's what we could do that with Chicago, just surround him with great talent. But people say Brock Purdy's not that good. I think he throws some dives, and he's better than people think. But
take Trent Williams. Look at Brock Purdy's stats when you take Trent Williams away. Look at Brock Purdy's stats when he's playing from behind in the fourth quarter. He's not. The reason he is so good is because of all the weapons that he has around him. He has Christian McCaffrey. He has Debo. He has George Kittle. He has Brandon Ayuk. He has Trent Williams. If you take some of those guys away, I mean, what does Justin Fields have? He doesn't have a Christian McCaffrey. Maybe equatable to Kittle.
You just made the argument against this. You were talking about the meme that you said about how Justin Fields doesn't have enough guys, and now you're going straight into how Justin Fields doesn't have enough guys.
I think he has sufficient talent, but I'm talking about the talent that Brock Purdy has might be the best in the league. Okay, so I'm not saying Justin isn't succeeding because he doesn't have talent around him. He has some talent, but he doesn't have 49ers talent. He doesn't have Trent Williams. He doesn't have Debo. He doesn't have Christian McCaffrey.
Darnell Mooney's wide receiver too. That's a problem.
That's what I'm saying. Darnell Mooney is not Brandon Ayuk.
Yeah. And to the point I made a moment ago, if you look at the teams in the playoffs right now, right? So we got Cleveland Browns. They're an outlier. Joe Flacco, he was a top pick way back when. Houston Texans, C.J. Stroud, number 2 pick overall last year. Miami Dolphins, Tua, first round pick. Kansas City Chiefs. You guys ever heard Patrick Mahomes? Yep. First round pick. Steelers, Mason Rudolph. Obviously, that's an outlier.
Yeah.
Buffalo Bills, Josh Allen. Jordan Love with the Packers, 26th overall, still a first-round pick. Dak Prescott, same thing. You guys see the trend I'm pointing out here is the best way to get a good quarterback is talent draft. And Brock Purdy, you can make the point about Brock Purdy, but like Jesse said, who's to know where Brock Purdy would be if you weren't in that offense and on that team? So what the point I'm trying to make about it's really you have to think long and hard about passing on these guys at the top of the draft when you have that capital, because it only comes along so often. And for the Bears right now, they've had it 2 years in a row. And, do you really want to say we're going to pass again? And who knows when we get close, because Chicago sports is living in purgatory. It's your team always not being the worst team in the league, but never being the best team in the league. And it's like, at some point, let's go down to as deep as we can go, which we kind of did last year. And now let's see if we can rise above mediocrity.
I didn't make myself very clear because I agree with that. Like, I think we do draft up. Like, we don't trade the number one.
Yeah, I think we go for it in the draft this year. I don't think that necessarily entails drafting a quarterback. I think we can trade
1 or 9.
First pick
we could still get Harrison number 1 and still get probably an okay quarterback at number 9.
We could trade we could trade that number 1 overall pick and probably still maybe get Harrison depending.
Well, I think there's a couple scenarios too, like
maybe
if we do draft or like Patriots and the Commanders could trade for the number 1 pick,
and then we'll get there 2 or 3,
second or third pick, and that could be something. But I want us to draft a quarterback now. After Sunday, I wasn't on board. I was for Justin, and now it's like I think I'm ready to move on because that shit sucked. So
it was bad, especially to watch Jordan Love on the other side of the ball just dice us up. I mean, not really, but it seemed like yards came pretty easy for them.
He threw some really good balls.
There were some chunk, crossing routes over the middle of the field where there just were no defenders, and they caught the ball 15 to 20 yards down the field and ran for 50. And it was just like, geez.
I think that showed that this, as well as this defense played down the stretch, it's still like there are still areas where we need to improve. When you have a good unit in terms of an offensive line on the other side, like Montez Sweat can't do everything by himself.
What effect?
And we probably need some more guys on the defensive line, build up that rotation, have guys who can really get after the passer. Obviously the secondary we were down a man. But yeah, I mean, Jordan Love looks pretty good. It's unfortunate, but I mean, the Bears have to keep pace with these other teams in the division because the NFC North is going to be – the Packers are the youngest team in the league. Detroit pretty good. I mean, Minnesota lost Kirk Cousins at the beginning of the year, and everybody's like, no, they actually almost made the playoffs too. Like these teams are like, this division is going to be tough. So we need to make sure that we succeed in the offseason.
Since I was born in 1993, the Bears are like 12-51 against the Packers.
Yeah, that was our 10th straight loss, I think, to them.
Yep.
Matt LaFleur has never lost to the Bears.
Jesse's 30. Quick math.
Like, it's depressing. It sucks so bad. I think, honestly, the last time the Bears beat the Packers, I was actually at that game, 2018. The Bears clinched the NFC North. Mitch Trubisky was the quarterback. Matt Nagy was the head coach, and it was freaking awesome. And
you want to get back there, don't you?
Yes, I do. I'm sick of this bullshit.
Hey, I want to go to a game with you. We'll have that moment together.
Well, until I see something different. I mean,
right.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, let's go to a preseason game next year.
Yeah.
Let's do it.
What do they do preseason?
We'll do a Chitown Lowdown episode from the Soldier Field parking lot.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Just the audio, or?
No, we can figure video. It's 2024. We'll figure it out.
Yeah, you got it.
I'm down.
It's probably a good point to leave off now that we're all bad and depressed about the future of the Bears, right?
Just beat up the draft talk for the last 30 minutes.
Yeah.
That's all we can talk about.
Like, we don't know what's going to happen, but we'll see you guys in a couple days.
Well, like I said before, this is a good time of the year because, like, things are happening. The draft's not till whatever, March. Or when is the draft? April? But things are happening now. And, like, I think we do need to get our coaches in a row so our players know what the heck's going on. Because that's big. We got to get the locker room on the same, page.
Yep. Let us know in the comments, what do you think the coaching picture looks like in 2024 for the Chicago Bears? What do you think the draft order looks like?
What do you think about Justin? Always.
Always, yeah. What are the thoughts there? But this was a lively one. It was fun, batting around the conversation with the guys. So batting around in the comments. Anything else you guys want to add?
Nope.
All right. Like and subscribe, and we will see you for Picks Against the Spread soon-ish.